Good evening, y'all. How's everybody doing this evening? 7 p.m. Los Angeles time, 10 p.m. East Coast time. I usually don't come on this late. I was supposed to do this last week, so I'm behind. I said, let me just jump up in here real quick and do this story time because I need to get something out into the air, out into the ether. So thank you for tuning in. My name is Thandisizwe Chimurenga. Hopefully, y'all can hear me, right? Yeah, this is a late one. Don't you nod off. Don't you nod off, Leah. All right, fine. You can come back later on and you can press play later on after you wake up. Y'all act like y'all don't be going to bed this early. I know y'all be hanging out. Anyway, the point being, my name is Thandisizwe Chimurenga, and this is Rootwork here on Black Liberation Media. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for joining me later on. If you're not watching here live, all right, Zen, maybe you are against your will. You do be going to bed early. Okay, fine, whatever. Anyway, uh, please like, share, subscribe if this is your first time watching the show. And it's going to be a brief show tonight. I promise. I'm not going to keep you long. I just got to do some housekeeping real quick. If you haven't done it yet, like, share, and subscribe. Share the link, subscribe to Rootwork, subscribe to Black Liberation Media. It's absolutely free. It costs you nothing. But if you do want to, spread some coins around, there's the Patreon, there's the Venmo, and there's the Cash App down below. And speaking of spreading some coins, shout out to Kevin, Xavier, and Mike Mack. Thank you so much for your support of this show. Quasi Aquamu, what up, though? Well, you about to find out what up, though. Okay, so I keep saying I'm not going to keep you long, and I promise I'm not going to keep you long. This is story time. I want to tell y'all a story. And the reason I want to tell you this story is because it came up for me last week when we did the show with Rosa Clemente interviewing Hiram Rivera. Please go back and check that out if you have not already seen it. It's always a joy to have Hiram on the channel. It's always a joy to have Rosa Clemente on the channel. But it came up for me when people in the comments were talking about they're not black. They're not black. And of course, those were the ADOS and FBA people. ADOS and FBA are trash, in case you weren't clear with what my position is on that. And so because it keeps coming up, I hadn't mentioned this before, but I just want to, like I said, this was last week. I meant to do it last week. A bunch of stuff happened. I'm not going to get all into that. But I thought it would be good to bring it here to Black Liberation Media and Rootwork. So real quick, because I said I'm not going to hold y'all, right? Two things I want to state before I get into this story. The first thing is ADOS is trash and FBA is trash. That's unequivocal. Having said that, the second thing I want to say is that every movement, every organization, whether it is revolutionary or reactionary, whether it is reformist, quote unquote progressive, whether it is corrupt, whether it is illegitimate, regardless, every single movement has individuals within them who honestly, truly, sincerely believe in the publicly stated goals, mission, objectives, etc. of that organization. There are always true believers, honestly, sincerely, every single movement. ADOS and FBA, which are trash, is no exception. There are honestly people in there who believe in the publicly stated goals, objectives, mission, etc. Now that I got that out the way, I want to tell you this story real quick. So, I graduated from Crenshaw High School. I'm 18 years old. I go off to Los Angeles City College. My first year there, I'm doing great in classes. I'm on the campus. I'm getting known. uneventful. Okay. Next year comes. I'm 19 years old. And as classes are beginning, I notice this brother on the campus. Something about him says to me he's new. He may have been a night student and just now taking day classes. I don't know. But he looked new to me. So I'm checking him out, right? Like a caramel colored brother, lighter than me, medium shape, nice afro, mustache, big, beautiful eyes, long eyelashes. I'm like, who is this brother? I didn't shoot my shot, but I wondered who he was, right? So I get to class, speech 101. I was a communications major, right? I get to the class, and this brother is sitting in there. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to get to find out who this brother is now. All right. So everybody has to get up and make some type of presentation. Obviously, it wasn't a presentation about who you are because that would have answered all my questions. But at any rate, so the brother gets up and speaks, and I'm listening attentively, right? Again, caramel colored brother, mustache, nice afro, medium size. But when he opened his mouth, he had what sounded like to my 19-year-old, never traveled outside of the US, grew up watching television all my life ears, as a British accent. He was speaking English. I understood every word he said. But he ain't sound like nobody I had ever met in my real life. He ain't sound like my mom and my daddy. He ain't sound like nobody in my family who from Arkansas and Alabama. He ain't sound like nobody in the hood. He ain't sound like nobody from New York. He ain't sound like nobody from Baltimore. He ain't sound like nobody from down south. He didn't sound like nothing I had ever encountered in my Black life. But his last name was Spanish. So now I'm all kinds of hella confused, right? So I wait for him to finish. Soon as he finished, I think I may have been the first hand up. He calls on me. And I say, "What are you?" "I'm Black," he said. "No, you're not." "Yes, I am." "No, you're not." "Yes, I am." So we didn't go back and forth too much. I mean, the professor didn't have to jump in and stop anything, right? Long story short, he was from Belize, okay? So we became good friends after that. But I tell that story because, again, it came up for me last week with Hiram and Rosa. There were FBA ADOS people in the comments talking about you're not Black, blah, 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 blah. I tell that story because, in addition to that, a couple of months ago, when all of the protests kind of started around ICE and immigration here in Los Angeles, there was a clip circulating of a brother out here at the protest. Because, here in LA, you had a lot of Black folks like, Black people stay out of this. This is about Mexicans. We ain't got nothing to do with this, blah, blah, blah. But there was a clip of this brother arguing with this sister. And in the clip, you hear him say, "You're not Black, you're Haitian." Now, when I heard him say that, I said to myself, that shit sounds crazy. But I also understood what he was saying. So remember, I'm 19 years old. I ain't been nowhere. I'm just a kid. Watched TV all my life. I don't remember when I was growing up ever hearing about Black Brits, Black British, Black people in Britain. I just remember hearing about the British. I don't remember hearing about Black people in France. I only remember hearing about the French. Jamaica, I didn't hear about Black people in Jamaica. I just heard about Jamaicans. I don't remember hearing about Cubans, black Cubans, black Puerto Ricans. I don't remember hearing nothing about that. I just remember hearing about Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, etc. The only time I remember growing up hearing about black people was 2 times. Black folks in the US and black folks in South Africa. South African blacks or the blacks in South Africa. That was the only time I remember hearing about blacks. Everybody else was whatever country they were in. I didn't hear about black Brazilians. I heard about Brazilians. So even though that shit sounded crazy, and it was, you're not black, you're Haitian. I mean, if any motherfuckers is black, is Haitians, okay? We owe a debt of gratitude to the Haitian people for striking the blow against slavery. They're black. My point being, when I heard that, I was like, that shit's crazy. But I understood what he's talking about. Again, going back to the people who are sincere and committed, there's a belief that everybody else is a citizen or whatever of their ethnicity, or they've got their own ethnicity, they've got their own nationality. But black people over here are black. That's who we are. That's who we've been referred to. That's what we call ourselves. This is who we are. And it sounds, in addition to that shit sounding crazy, it almost sounds as if black people in the US are trying to gatekeep or copyright or trademark the word black. We're the only black people, whereas everybody else is wherever the hell they are. I don't think that's what it is. I honestly think that there are those out there who think like that 19-year-old who had never read anything, never been anywhere, only watched TV. Oh, black people, the US, everybody else, every place else. Now, just as a side note, me and the brother, we became good friends. That was over 30 years ago, right? And in that span of time, he's gone back to Belize, come back to Los Angeles, gone back to Belize, went to New York, been all over, a whole bunch of places. We lose touch, we get back in touch. We lose touch, we get back in touch, just off and on, right? And every time we get back in touch, every single time, like clockwork, you can set your watch by it. Every time we get back in touch, inevitably, at some point, he will say to me, do you remember? Yeah, I remember, man. Damn, let it go. Jesus. He is never going to let me live that down. We cool, we friends, we laugh, but he ain't gonna never forget that. As he shouldn't forget it. He is never going to let me live that down. I will never be able to live that down, as I shouldn't, because that shit sounded crazy. So that's the little story I wanted to tell you. Like I said, I promise I ain't gonna keep y'all long. I'm not gonna keep y'all long. But I just had to get that out there, that there is this is the problem. There's so many problems with ADOS and FBA, which is trash. One of the problems is that the nuances of truth, the nuances of clarity, however small of a sliver they may be, are wrapped up and encased in a cosmic slop of fuck shit. That's my favorite expression. It's like so much we got to peel away to get, it's almost not worth it. But as my brother Kwasi Akwamu mentions, black is a color, not an identity. We are in general alienated from the idea that we too are a distinct nation. Absolutely. And parts of those nuances and kernels of truth that are hidden within that, not hidden, buried deep within that cosmic slop of fuck shit. When you hear ADOS and FBA people talking about we are a distinct people, New Africans say that also. We don't say we're descended from slavery. We, of course, understand we are descended from African people. Various African ethnic groups nations of people who came here speaking different languages, but who now speak one language, who were all enslaved in the deep southern region of the US, known as the Black Belt South, where we developed a distinct culture, a distinct language, a distinct ethos, a distinct way of looking at the world. And we meet the international definition of what a nation is. So whether you call yourself an American descendant of slavery, or a foundational Black American, or a New African, one of these things is not like the other two. One group is part of a movement fighting to, as Malcolm X says, get off the plantation because they want a nation. Them other two is trying to crawl back onto the plantation. That's Malcolm said that, not me. So again, there's these slivers of nuances of truth and clarity that are encased in fuck shit. And that fuck shit, that cosmic slop of fuck shit is hardening. You almost got to chisel it away. But they up in there if you care to go look for it. Or you could just understand, like many other people, FBA, ADOS, Solon, or right-wing nonsense, conservatives with seasoning. Or trash, as I say, garbage, garbaggio, right? But again, there are people within them who are honest and sincere. And you can see that in the movement now for reparations. So many people have, thank God, thank the goddess, broken away from ADOS and FBA. They're like, you know what? All of this madness y'all talking about, hating Black folks from elsewhere and hating not going to go see Harriet because of Cynthia Erivo and hairline and who created rap. I'm not here for all that shit. I'm here because I believe African people are due reparations and I want to fight for it. African people within the United States are due reparations and I want to fight for it. You can keep all that hairline and all that other nonsense. I'm not here for that. And hopefully more and more people will continue to break away from ADOS, which is trash, and FBA, which is also trash. And their little cousin coming up, known as the Pretendians, we was here and we was Indians, okay, trying to claim the Gullah Geechee off the coast of South Carolina, Georgia, as Black Indians, when the Gullah Geechee people themselves will tell you they came from Africa. Why are you not listening to the very people? They don't know where the hell they came from? Okay, hairline, is that a thing with them? Oh, you haven't been paying attention. Tariq Nasheed did a whole thing about how, see, look at this person's hairline. He ain't from here. He an African. He from someplace else. Yeah, hairline. Usually with the males, usually. I'm telling you, cosmic slop of fuck shit. I'm just telling you. Tariq Nasheed is the one behind, so he done went from FBA to so. It don't matter if it's a cult or a revolutionary. Well, you know, if it's a cult, you know they're true believers. That's one of the reasons they in a cult. Every group, every movement has true believers in it. People who honestly, truly, sincerely believe the publicly stated aims, goals, mission, objectives of the organization. Regardless of how you feel about it, they are true believers. So I didn't know. So Tariq done got him that's basically Tariq got him a new bag. He got him a new pimp game. So, okay, fine. So it's 7:22. This has been Storytime with Thandisizwe Chimurenga. Again, it came up. This issue came up for me again because of the show last week. Was it last week? With Rosa Clemente interviewing Hiram Rivera. If you've watched the channel at all, you know Hiram Rivera is beloved on this channel. Sister Rosa, also a beloved friend, sister comrade of the channel. Go back and check out that video. And of course, you can check out all of our other videos, etc. So let me run through these comments real quick, see what y'all got to say, other than Zinzi talking about she's awake against her will. Hey, love my fro. Yes, absolutely trash. Ban them from existence. I agree. Hey Terry, how you doing? Where's Rao at? I still don't understand why you call yourself Rao's pasta sauce, but if you like it, I love it. All right. Hey Jamal. Balancing act. Well, yeah, you live in New. I had a black British girl in my junior high school class. Heard all kinds of accents my entire life, living in New York City. Duh, you can erase everything you just said and keep living in New York City. Do y'all understand? You know, Hollywood. You got the beach and glamour. This is a desert. It is a literal desert out here. Los Angeles. This is a desert. And many of us will say culturally, it's also a desert. Okay. I one of the reasons I look forward to going off to Howard University in Washington, D.C., because there were the consulates of so many African nations and Caribbean nations, black ass nations, black people from all over the world constantly coming and going into Washington, D.C., and coming to speak at Howard University, being exposed to some of everybody, which you could get in a Washington, D.C. or New York City. We weren't going to get that out here, and we didn't get that out here. All right. FBA ADOS to me is rooted in American exceptionalism. Again, folks trying to crawl back onto the plantation, not escape from the plantation. American exceptionalism is some serious spiked Kool-Aid. Okay? Serious. Queen Mother Moore advanced New African as a national name. Dr. Keisha Blaine has come out with a biography of Queen Mother Moore. It's dropping November 4th, I do believe. Hopefully she will be here on the channel to talk about the book. I guess you can pre-order it if it's not, if you can't buy it already. But this is the first, if not only, full-length bio of Queen Mother Moore. So Ashley Blaine has done us, Ashley Farmer, Keisha Blaine. I think it's Ashley Farmer. I done got them mixed up. Forgive me if you, when you see this. This person has done us a great service. Before I even crack open the book to see what's written, the fact that we're going to get so much information on Queen Mother Moore in one compact spot, that person has done, Dr. Ashley Farmer has done us a service. Then we'll read the book and see what else it said. All right. Yep. Ooh. No, not that not that the internet needs to be abolished. Some people just need to have their microphones taken away. They are also misunderstanding the Yamasee War. They know and won't. They don't know or won't acknowledge the African uprising against the Spanish settlers. Like 2 centuries prior, those Africans were enslaved. Talking about the Yamasee, talking about black folks were here first. We are indigenous. They're misunderstanding a lot. Some of it's on purpose. Okay. Hey, love you too. I'm a principled hater, so I know about that Solon nonsense. Ooh, what you trying to say? That people who don't know about it are unprincipled? Leah, you gonna let them talk about you like that? Hi, Dre. Leah, you just gonna let them say that about you? Anyway. I don't even care if it's Solon is a ethonym and an acronym. It's garbage. That's what it is. Anyway. See, here we go. Solon, soul, autochthonous American, autochthonous, originating here, not someplace else, originating here with soul and American. You know what? I was the assistant editor of a black newspaper here in Los Angeles once. Now, most print newspapers adhere to the Associated Press style book, AP. I said I wasn't going to keep y'all, but y'all keep coming with these comments. Most print newspapers adhere to the Associated Press style book, even the black newspapers. Now, some newspapers have their own in-house style, and some do not. So I was assistant editor at this black newspaper, and they would always spell black with a lowercase b. I would put capital B, and they would cross it out and put lowercase b because the Associated Press hadn't said that. We'll do a show on the Associated Press later. I'm trying not to keep y'all tonight. So at the time, New African was not going to work for them because they was like, who, what, why? No. So I began to say African American because it was capitalized. I'm not lowercase, and I'm certainly not a carbon copy of white folks, white Americans, African American. And that is the only reason why I would use that word, right? That's a whole nother show also. The disdain that people have for African American and wanting to disregard it for Black American. Where you came from somewhere. How did you get here? If you're not going for the Solon or the Pretendian, you're descended from slave. Who was enslaved? Where did they come from? How did they get here? From Africa. You are a descendant of African people. This whole thing of, can we retire Black American? No, excuse me. Can we retire African American? Can we just say we Black American? No. No, I need to stop cussing so much. Abso-freaking-lutely not. But anyway, it was spaceship. Yeah, they sound like, uh-oh. Yaku, well, yeah, well, you know. Yeah, folks try to dress stuff up, but, it's still trash. It's still garbage. Leah and Dre, y'all know I'm just messing with y'all, right? I didn't mean that. It's late for me too. All right, so that's all I got. I want to thank you for listening to me rant. I don't always get up here and rant. I try to bring you individuals who I think have information that you need to know about. And if not the individuals, the information and the documentation that you need to know about. But I said I need to jump on here and have this as a record. And so that's why we did story time with Thandisizwe Chimurenga tonight. If something else comes up, I'll think up another story time and I'll hit y'all back later on. But other than that, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you so much. Again, please like, share, subscribe. And if you don't like and decide to come into the comments later on, my delete fingers stay ready. I'm just letting you know right now. Don't come up in here thinking you're going to write a dissertation and it's going to be seen, because it ain't. Especially if you're promoting ADOS, which is trash, or FBA, which is trash. All right. So, like I said, I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good night. Peace. Stay safe. Take care.